Moving on now to Thailand, a country that has faced scrutiny for human trafficking and slave labor, but some of the kingdom's companies are trying to improve working conditions, especially for the millions of migrant laborers. VOA's Steve Herman talks with me about what's happening there.
Adjacent to this open-air space, several hundred workers are building 319 luxury homes. With a very low unemployment rate in Thailand, builders and contractors are dependent on migrant laborers, some of whom insist on bringing along their spouses, who are also put to work.
Steve, what kind of pressure has the international community been putting on Thailand with regard to their slave labor and the working conditions over there?
Well, I think Thailand was really stung by this State Department trafficking in persons report that came out recently. Now that the country is under a military government and there's essentially one man, army chief, a general who has all the legislative and executive power, he was very determined apparently to do something about it. And we're starting to see rhetoric and some action from the government to crack down on some of the worst abuses that Thailand has been accused of.
Do they have a certain amount of time that they can be in the country? And how's that working with regard to sort of legalizing them, if you will?
Well, the crackdown that has been undertaken by the military junta in Thailand deals with the undocumented workers. Basically, they want all these workers registered in the country. And that process has been underway. They've been able to already register perhaps several 100,000 workers in a very short period of time. So these workers are quite welcome, they're quite wanted, but the military junta now wants them to be properly registered and sponsored by some sort of employer. So to be here legally, they're supposed to be hired by a contractor who then takes them to one of these new one-stop centers to get all their paperwork done.
So where are they coming from?
Mainly they are coming from Burma and Cambodia. Now, exactly how many there are in Thailand is unknown, but a conservative estimate is about 2 million. And when they come, these workers, men and women, tend to come as a family unit.
It's very common in construction site whereby we can see lots of kids running around and not doing anything productive. Sometimes even worse. Sometimes you can use the child labor to help build houses and things like that.
Previously, the Sansari Corporation, like many builders in the developing world, looked the other way regarding children at construction sites. President Sept says all of Sansari's contractors now sign a clause acknowledging they can be terminated if they are found to be employing anyone under the age of 15.
And we hear about crackdowns and official campaigns, but especially if you go around the country, you will still find children working. What the laws are and what is the reality sometimes in this part of the world are two very different things.
Construction worker Ma Moy from Myanmar has a bachelor's degree in history. Despite her education, she says the best way to provide for her son is for her and her husband to build homes and offices in Thailand.
At previous construction sites making daily wages, we couldn't send our son to school. So that is why I am elated he could have this kind of educational experience here.
And at this construction site, there, of course, is a UNICEF site to keep the children during the day and to put them through school. Are there a lot of UNICEF sites around Thailand, or just a few?
Well, this was a site that is actually run by a private construction company, and that company made one of the contractors build this site. This, you could say, is more of a model site. There are perhaps a handful in the country right now like this, and the hope is from UNICEF and others that this will become very common and not be a rarity.
VOA correspondent Steve Herman in Thailand reporting how things are getting a little bit better for the migrant workers over there.